Let's check in on my savings progress for March 2025. Hi, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Autumn, and I'm out here trying to be somebody's rich auntie. Yes, that is correct. I am striving to achieve rich auntie status, and to me, that means being completely debt-free and having a net worth of over $1 million. But I not only want to be rich in money, because yes, I do want to be rich in money, but I want to be rich in joy and positive life experience. And I believe that discipline with finances can help me achieve that. I invite you to join me on this journey by subscribing below, as well as clicking that notification bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Today, we are going to be checking in on my savings goals for my high yield savings accounts. But before we do that, I just want to give you a few stats about myself. Again, my name's Autumn. I'm 39 years old. I am married. My husband is 45 years old, and we are dinkwads, meaning that we are double income, no kids, with a dog. We live in Louisville, Kentucky, and my career is as a corporate trainer. I've been in the corporate training space for about 15 years. Okay, let's hop into the spreadsheet for March. All right, first, let's do some quick spreadsheet layout, talk about all the column headers. So this high yield savings account goal, this is the name or the category name of the sinking fund or the name of the high yield savings account. I have two high yield savings account, one exclusively for my emergency fund, and then I have another one called fund money, which is what I use for essentially everything else. I have the goal amount, so what is my goal for that particular category that I'm saving for? And then what is the current goal amount? Because some of these, like vacations, I will be spending money out of those accounts as I'm also saving it. So when I'm spending money, my goal is to no longer get back to that initial amount. It's going to be a lower amount because I've already spent money out of that fund. So what is the current goal amount? Starting balance, so this is the starting balance for March, how much was already in the account at the beginning of the month. And then if I was able to make any deposits into that category, as well as the interest that I am earning. And then the peak balance is what was the highest balance that the savings account got that month. Next is withdrawal. So did I spend any money out of that category for the month? And then the ending balance, and then the updated goal amount. So again, that's if I did end up spending money, what is that new lower goal amount, which is what I'll then put into the current goal amount section. And then finally, the amount needed. So how much is needed to reach that new updated goal amount? So essentially, how much do I have remaining before I fully fund the particular goal? All right, now we're going to get into the categories. So number one is just my emergency fund. I have a high yield savings account just for that. My goal is $30,000. This will essentially be 5 or 6 months. 6 months worth of bare bones expenses for my family, and the current goal is $30,000. This is one of the ones where even if I spend money out of it, my goal will always be to get back to $30,000. Next, we have fund money. So as you can see, in fund money, I'm saving for lots of different buckets or events right now. These top few here, these are my static goals, meaning that I'm always going to be reaching back for this amount, even if I spend money out of it. And then these bottom ones here are travel. So this is where if I spend money out, I no longer need to reach that original goal. I reach a lower goal. So we have a car down payment. Our goal is to save $15,000 for a new car. We're going to be starting on this goal later in the year. So there's really nothing going here as of yet. Then we have home and auto maintenance. So our goal is at $5,000. It'll probably get bumped up to $10,000, but right now I'm okay with it being $5,000. Home taxes and insurance. So if you watched my previous video on a budget recap for March, you saw that I separated my mortgage from my taxes and insurance. I essentially closed my escrow account. And so that means I'm responsible now for saving up for my own taxes and insurance. So I added a line item here in the fund money section. And there isn't anything saved right now, but we already did get the check from escrow that has been deposited into our bank account. So in April, I will be transferring that amount to this category. Next, I have standby travel. So this is a new line that I added as well. The goal is $6,000. I realized that I don't want to have a trip already known or planned in order to have money set aside for it. I work a job and my husband works a job where we can take off work with pretty short notice. And so I want to have money set aside to where if I find a really good deal within the next 3 weeks or traveling within a month, I can go ahead and pull the trigger and we can go ahead and pay for that. I don't want to have to know like 6 months to a year in advance. So my thought is if we have $6,000 on deck, then we'll be able to, immediately take advantage of that on demand or last minute travel. So I've decided $6,000 is a good enough amount. And then our last static account is Christmas and other gifts, $1,500. Dinkwads, we don't really have any kids, not lots of kids in our family. The nieces and nephews are getting older every year. And so there's not a big need for us to save a lot for Christmas. Okay, now here are the trips that I have coming up. We have Savannah in August of this year. The initial goal was 4,000. The current goal is blank right now because we did make some deposits and withdrawals. So I'll have an updated goal after we look at those deposits and withdrawals. Same thing with New York City. My goal is 5,000 and we've spent out of it. We've added a lot of money to it. So that goal will be updated. Next year, the plan is to go to Paris. The goal is 5,000. There's no spending for that yet, so it's the same amount. In 2026, in July, so my best friend just found some glamping trip in the Catskills of New York, and she was like, we should go to this next year. And I agreed. I concurred. So I added that to the list, $3,000. That's the budget. Haven't done any saving or spending yet. And then in August of next year, I want to go with my mother and my husband to LA. My mom is really big into, don't get me wrong, I am too, like television, film production, all that stuff. So we want to go tour the studios, do things like that. That will be happening in August of next year. The budget is $4,000. That's assuming we get cheap flights, but if not, I might have to up that by 1,000. So stay tuned. All right, now we're actually going to get into the transactions for the month, and let's start with the emergency fund. Luckily, this is boring. We only have deposits, so our monthly deposit of $75, so we transfer from our checking account to our high yield savings account, and we earned interest of $7.58. Meaning that our ending balance is $2,750.82, meaning that we only need a measly $27,249 in order to reach our goal of $30,000. Eventually, the goal is to be contributing way more than $75 a month. But if you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you know that my main goal, my main financial goal is debt payoff. So all of our extra money is going to debt payoff. Once I get us in a good place there, I'm going to switch focus to saving up for this emergency fund, beefing up the emergency fund. I definitely want to get it to that $30,000 sooner than later. But that's enough with emergencies. Let's hop down to fun money. So a lot of this, there is no activity. So car down payment, home and auto maintenance, taxes and insurance, standby travel, Christmas gifts. We have nothing saved for those yet. I'm not concerned. I know that the money is coming down the line, but we have nothing saved for those. And we also didn't make any deposits toward those this month. They will remain at zero. My main focus is funding the travel that we have coming up this year. So all of the deposits that we make will be going toward this. And might I say the transactions were transacting this month. We had a lot of activity. So if we scroll down, we can see that we had the monthly transfer of $75 on March the 3rd, and I attributed that to our Savannah trip. So I made a deposit of $75. Noting here that the beginning balance, I already have $1,330 saved toward this, so we're in good shape. I added the $75 for the deposit, and then if we look on the 5th, promptly withdrew $664.65. So $664.65 for the Airbnb. So we had to put a deposit down for the Airbnb. And then on the 6th, we received interest income, and I decided to put that toward the Savannah trip as well. So $5.42 goes for Savannah. All right, next, if we look here, so I got an annual bonus this year. This was my first year getting a bonus from my new job, and wow, very, very grateful. That bonus came in. I was able to transfer in total $3,343 to my high yield savings accounts. And so I split that up between the Savannah trip and the New York City trip. And so I'm going to add 1060.62 plus 1060, 62. And then for my New York trip, I was able to add 2282.70. Okay, so those were huge deposits toward the trip, but I do know that, yep, boop, right after that, I booked some stuff for New York City. So on the 17th and 18th, we booked the flight and hotel. And so that came out to minus 2282.76. And now it's clear why I put the amount in that I did. Okay, and so those are all the transactions for this month, but that does leave us with some major updates. So that means the updated goal amount for Savannah is $2,236.24 because I've already spent clearly $1,800 towards Savannah. But the cool thing is that I'm only $429 away from that goal. So I am less than $500 from fully funding Savannah. So that's exciting. And then the remaining goal for New York City is 2717.24. And I am still about $2,000 short from reaching that goal. So these are definitely going to be my savings priorities until those trips actually happen. They're coming up in a few months at this point. But between some extra paychecks that I'm going to be getting and other places where the money's got to come from somewhere, or maybe I'll just lower the budget. But these trips are happening, and so I'll be sure to keep you updated with my savings and how much everything ends up costing. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below, what are your savings goals? Did you make any progress toward them in March? Do you have any fun things coming up? Let me know in the comments. Thanks, and I'll talk to you next month.